Welcome and blessed Samhain, everyone. Today, in just a few minutes, in less than half an hour, Mercury turns retrograde in Scorpio. And as I studied the Divine Feminine astrology chart for the Mercury Retrograde, the two charts for today, turning retrograde, and 3 weeks from now, turning direct, I saw some really potent information that I wanted to share with you. I am Carla Sanders, Cosmic Crone, and I am here today to share this with you. Hi, Cindy. And so as you come on, if you want to listen with me live, feel free to let me know. Give me the applause sign, the hearts and the likes. I enjoy that. And feel free to comment and post any questions. I'm going to be present with you for about half an hour. And I'm going to introduce you to my drum, my Cosmic Crone. This is the voice of the Cosmic Crone. She just sounded. It's moist here. I've only just turned the heat on in my studio. So she is not in full voice, but she's always in full power. Today, let us beat the drum to honor the ancestors. Let's call them in because they have something to teach us in Scorpio. And this chart is all about healing the ancestral wounds, healing the legacy that they left us, that they didn't really want to leave us. We're only human, all of us, all the way back for 1 million years or so. And we're going to be human in the future, provided we can get right with our relationship with the earth, and with ourselves and our souls. And that's the work we're doing in Scorpio now. Thank you. As I was going through the chart, the two charts, I realized I need to make an animation or even do a webinar to show you how the planets move. They're so beautiful. But there's no time for that today. So right now I want to tell you a story. And I hope you can hear me all right, because I got here without my, I'm going to turn up my volume. I don't know if that works on the microphone. I don't have headphones. So I'm just going with it because, so it's Mercury retrograde almost. Shit happens. So thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being awake to what's going on in the world and for caring about your own life, because that is what I am here for, to support you in caring about your own life, your own mission, and your own healing. And the Divine Feminine astrology that I work with is full of resource. Yeah, I can tell you what's big in the world, what's going on, but what the goddess points point to are where your resources are, where your strength is, where your mission is. And we're going to touch on that today. This is the direct, let me see. At 11:42 a.m. Eastern Time, Mercury will be retrograde. It is already stationed. It's standing still and has been for close to 24 hours. And it is standing still in a triple conjunction to Venus and Pallas Athene in Scorpio. And that means Mercury is picking up the energy of Venus, the goddess of beauty, the bright and shining one, the goddess of sensuality and abundance and everything voluptuous that we associate with the divine feminine. And he stands with the more stern and austere version of Pallas Athene, who stands for the mind, intellectual power and strength, mental strength, strategy, being able to think through a problem to the solution. So these two, this profoundly sensual, embodied, intuitive aspect of Venus and the mental and intellectual aspect of Pallas Athene, these two aspects of the feminine, it's like they're writing down messages and putting them into a bottle and handing them to Mercury and saying, carry these back through Scorpio. So that's what inspired me today to talk with you. The story, let's set the stage for the story as we find it. Scorpio is all about the things we don't talk about. It's about the things we're in denial about. It's about sex, death, money, and all that that represents in our culture today. And the interesting thing, Scorpio is really about sex and death, and we added money. I think that's because we recognize that money is an energy that wields power, that is used to move power around in the modern world. And so, and it's also, as such, it's something we don't talk about. We don't talk about how much money we have. We don't talk about how much money we owe or how much we make, or what we do with it and how we use money for power, or how money is used to oppress us or others. So money is like this agent of sex and death in the patriarchal world. And in the Northern Hemisphere, Scorpio is the time of the hag. It belongs to the crone, the hag, and the witch. And today is Halloween, where little children are going out dressed as skeletons and witches and ghosts. And that is kind of a patriarchal leftover from the sacred time when the veils were thin and we gathered to light the fire and light the candles and commune with our ancestors and give them honor and listen to them. We really believed that they reached to us from beyond the grave to tell us the truth. It was part of being alive, was acknowledging the all too real aspect of death. And as we sit here with the veils thin, those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, and especially in the upper reaches where the long nights are coming and the cold winters are coming, we believe, we acknowledge that some of us won't be here in the springtime. The winter will take its toll, its duty. It takes a tax in life. The very young, the very old, the weak, the time of the hunger. We acknowledge this with deep honor and respect. And this is something that is in our bones. And right now it looks like scary movies and pumpkin spice lattes and, pumpkin cocktails. Gosh, who knows? I don't know, is there such a thing as a pumpkin colada rum drink? I don't know. I invite you to remember what our ancestors knew. So during this rule of Christendom, we've made the hag someone to fear. And maybe she always was, out of respect. It was the healthy fear. And now, in this society that we live in, the crone is feared. Society fears the crone and denies her power. And let's get real. Men fear the crone. They hate the crone. She is a threat to their masculinity, and she also reminds men of their mortality. And so they've made her a liability. The old woman is the weakest link, according to white patriarchy. The old woman is an expense rather than a value. Now, what about the old man? Not so much, partly because that's too close to home. Notice how the world is ruled by old white men, or let's say white men over 50, but mostly white men over 60, and a lot of the rulers are over 70. You know, look at the Senate, look at the White House in terms of the United States. It's a little different in certain other countries. But still, corporations, elders, old white men who are clinging to a fragile masculinity through amassing power, amassing wealth, co-opting youth, and controlling sexuality except perhaps for their own, and subduing the earth. It is all about power and control. And the old woman, the Nancy Pelosi's of the world, scare the shit out of these old men. So, are you a woman over 50, over 60, pushing 65 like me? Well, stand in your power and enjoy the fear. Enjoy the fact that the world is terrified of you, and suck in that power. Use it. Use this time in Scorpio to look at this projection of fear towards your power and who you are, and instead of succumbing to it and hating yourself, drink it. Look at all that power people are feeding you. Tap into that ritually, tap into it through feeling your own body, tap into it through your sexuality. The Crone orgasm is one of the most powerful forces on the planet, partly because it is completely detached from procreation. It is not sending energy into creating the next generation. It is sending energy into what the world needs now. Let me not digress too much, but it's incredibly scorpionic. It's terrifying. It is the Crone orgasm is terrifying to the people who run the world. And so, try as they might, they will make us irrelevant, but all of their turns towards making us irrelevant feeds our power. So, Scorpio and Mercury. Mercury right now is sitting in this realm of the Crone, and he is sitting with the kind of Venus, and all of the goddess have triple goddess aspects, but Pallas Athene and Venus are really the woman and the mother aspect. That's how they're known mostly. But Mercury is heading towards the Crone. The realm of the Crone is life, death, life. She holds the keys. She stands at the crossroads and she points to the thresholds and the portals. So that's where we are today, October 31st, stepping over the portal into November 1st. Veils are thin. Feel them and walk through them. Know that you have the power to walk through them and still remain rooted in this life. You can connect with those who have passed on without having to die yourself. This is the magic of this time. So the Crone stands with us in a moment of decision. This is the place where we find our no and find our yes. We point to that which must die, and we give birth to that which must live. We open our knock-kneed legs, our fat or bony thighs, depending on your body type, and we say, I am ready to give birth, and I will support you in giving birth. And what is it that we are giving birth to? A new world. It's important that we take this responsibility, because if we refuse, the crone at the crossroads will take it upon herself to push. She will push us into this decision that must be made. So use your power of choice right now. It is the nature of freedom. It is, no matter what your circumstance in life, you have power of choice over who you are, who you will be, how you will face the decisions you have to make in your life. So right now, Mercury is taking this message in the bottle from Venus and Pallas Athene at 26, 27, and 28 Scorpio, opposite the demonized goddess Algol. There, it's like there's a string holding them taut. And all of that energy of the demonized goddess, that one that we have been taught to fear since we were born, is there in that Mercury moment. And Mercury is taking all that energy and swinging back through Mercury, through Scorpio, touching all the points of life, death, life, the sex, the money, the death, the things we don't talk about, all the places that we are wounded. Most of the places where we feel wounds, where we feel broken, where we have been hurt in our lifetime, very much relate to our sexuality, our love relationships, our fear of death, our health, our bodies, and our experience of money, which is really our relationship to society. Money is how we express our relationship to society. Whether we feel like we are fortunate or oppressed, whether we feel like we're wealthy or impoverished. So, Mercury is carrying this all the way back through Scorpio, and what he's doing, this is an interesting, rare astronomical event. He's going to transit the face of the sun. His solar conjunction is going to literally be, you can look at the sun in a telescope and track Mercury, the little black dot of Mercury crossing the face of the sun. So this is extra potent. There's nothing we can, how could it get more potent? Well, it does, because 3 weeks from today, November 20th, Mercury is going to meet Hecate at 11 Scorpio. He is going to meet the crone at the crossroads and stop and wait. Stand there with her. Give her that message from Venus and Pallas Athene. Give her the message that you have conveyed with your desire and your intention as you've done your scorpionic work over the next 3 weeks. And she is going to say, what do you choose? Which path will you take? What is your decision? How will you use your power? So Mercury is a messenger. He's a communicator. He communicates many different ways. I have been talking in Wise Women Lead about voice, the divine feminine power of voice. It is directly connected to the power of our wombs and our sexuality. It is directly connected to our capacity for manifesting and creating. So I see Mercury as amplifying our voice and giving us the opportunity to speak out about the things that we have been afraid to talk about. And this retrograde trip is very much about gathering information with the strength and the love and the resource of Venus and Pallas Athene, Mercury is allowing us to dredge up, to go deep and look into where are our wounds aching? Where is our pain? I talk to a lot of women. This is my particular pain. The abuse of the conservative religious upbringing that said it is not important to be a woman. Woman's role is to serve man, serve God, be silent in church, open your legs at will, and have no information about your own pleasure, your own sexuality, and your divine feminine power. The feminine has been silenced in this patriarchal Western religions. And so we can talk about the great monotheistic religions of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. And I know that people have, the feminine did not die. She is hidden, and she's seen in the mystical traditions of all of these religions. Those are not the aspects that are in power. They exist. They still live. You cannot kill the feminine. But she has been placed in this esoteric realm of the metaphysical and mystical. And so our work in Scorpio now is to bring her back into the body, to bring the feminine into the light-giving, life-giving truth. And so we come to Hecate, being brought here, our message brought by Mercury, in order to discern. What do? We can see the truth. We're looking at the truth. Maybe we've been looking at the truth a long time, and we've been gathering the courage to speak. And now, as Mercury turns back and repeats its path through Scorpio, that will be the time to speak. So I ask you, do you already have a clue? What will die, what will live? Are you willing to commit to discovering what will die and what will live? This is your time to receive clarity. What's coming up to be healed? There's a whole lot going on in this chart, and I'm not going to talk about it all because it would be overwhelming. I think I will make a movie or a webinar where you can have a visual and look at this, because it will help you later when it's time to speak out. Sagittarius, when the sun goes into Sagittarius, right before, I think on the 23rd of November, right after Mercury turns direct, that will be the time to speak up. So meanwhile, there are two planets. In Wise Women Lead, I did a live stream yesterday talking about these two planets. QB1, the thresholder, named now Albion, but I'm going to talk about him as QB1 because that's the thresholder name. And Nessus. These are in close harmony in Taurus and Pisces. And today and tomorrow, the sun at 7 Scorpio ignites those two planets. Those two planets, Nessus is the planet of healing the legacy of abuse and basically declaring that it stops with you. You will do the work in this lifetime to heal. And Albion, or QB1, is the thresholder, and it tells you how to heal. It tells you it's about birth, it's about death, and it is about sex. All the scorpionic qualities are alive in QB1. And the people who do that work, their life's work, their mission in life, is their destiny, in other words, is to support giving birth, midwives, doulas, or helping with death, hospice workers, death doulas, nurses and doctors at end of life, gerontologists, oncologists, and people like me, people who work with sexuality, orgasm coaches, sex coaches, sexual healers, tantra masters. these people who help people. You see, there's orgasmic energy is the energy that aligns birth and death. It runs through life and keeps life going, and it kind of enters this physical form at birth, and it releases into a new dimension at death. So during our life, working with orgasmic energy is working with the life, death, life cycle, and healing, using that energy to heal and create. That's why we're here as two-leggeds, as human beings with the power of choice. And this is what the patriarchy has tried to suppress and keep under tight wraps by saying all of that, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, if you go back to the Garden of Eden, all of that is sinful. No, it isn't. And that's the work we're doing as we reclaim this world, this planet, this life from the ravages of colonization and patriarchy. That's a study that we're doing over in Wise Women Lead if you want to join that group. It's tough, but the tough work is what we're here for. It's also beautiful. Orgasm feels good. Thank God. Thank Goddess. And I know for some of you, orgasm does not feel good. Orgasm is triggering because of trauma. The trauma of feeling like you're broken, the trauma of abuse, the trauma of violence. And that's another reason why I'm here, to help you walk through that and reclaim that for yourself. I know, I was there. Okay. So are you ready to take on your role of life, death, and life? So where does this leave you now? I have given you this bit of information to give you a reframe where you can take Scorpio and say that I can be intentional with the crap that I'm carrying, with the shit that's hitting the fan as I come into winter, as I deal with the ravages of October. I've heard a lot of people say that October was a shit month for a lot of people. It wasn't for me. I don't know why, but it's important to stand in the fan and look at the shit and realize it's compost, it's fertilization, it's nutrients, and understand that what is coming up must come up, because you cannot heal what you're not aware of. So in this month, I want to invite you, I do invite you to look, first of all, take very good care of yourself. Give yourself some time. This is not the time of year, especially with Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, to do business as usual. Take extra time to be silent, to listen. A great way to listen is automatic writing in your journal. Sit in your journal. One of my friends, Jen Miller, posted some beautiful questions from Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes on, and I think I will post them. I will post them on the page here and make sure that they're seen, because they're really good ways for you to begin to commune with Hecate and Mercury in this retrograde space of Scorpio. And also to let the Nessus and QB1 material come up. What is the threshold that you are standing on? And that will, by November 20th, turn into a crossroads where you will be choosing a path, either by your own volition and power, or because Hecate picked you up and tossed you. You got a big kick in the pants, and there are other planets at work in this chart that will do the kicking. They're wearing big boots. Hecate at the time of the, let me look at the chart. Where's Hecate right now? Okay, Sunday, the 27th, 4 days ago, the sun and the moon, the new moon, was at 4 Scorpio. The sun has moved on to 7, 7, and 8 during this retrograde initiation period. Hecate has moved to the point of the sun at 4 Scorpio, opposite Uranus. Big boots, kick ass. So why don't you put the boots on and use them for walking, choosing the path and walk. Don't wait to be kicked. It's so human. We always wait to be kicked, or we frequently wait to be kicked. Oh, there's much more to say, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a video so that we can say it and look at it and go even deeper into this sometime next week. Right now I'm getting ready to go on a retreat, heading off to New York tomorrow to be with my Priestess Path sisters. One thing I want to tell you before I go, though, because I feel like I painted, even though I've reframed it as an opportunity for healing, it's pretty darned intense. And the fact is, we are not meant to do this work alone. So work with your circle, use ritual and ceremony, connect with your ancestors, connect with your spirit guides, connect with your therapist if you have one. And if you don't have one, it might be a good time to find one. And you can connect with me. This could be the right time to work with me. And there are many levels at which you can work with me. I work with women in deep initiation and descent into the underworld, along with an ascent back into the light, and other ways that you can work with me, working with your sexuality, your sexual wounding. This is why I am here on the planet. So you can totally reach out to me and say, I am ready to invest in this deep work and to give myself. I need some help choosing the path. And a lot of times when you step on the path, the portal, the threshold you have to step over is this intense healing work. It is an initiation. So, and if you're thinking, yes, but when I talk about this, there is another way that I start everyone I work with the Desire and Destiny Intensive. This is an astrology intensive where we look at your natal divine feminine astrology chart, and then we find out, where is your Nessus? Where is your QB1? Where are your Liliths? And for this time right now, going into 2020 and the intense astrology that's happening in Capricorn, if you've got big Scorpio in your chart, like your birthday is this month or in November, Scorpio, sun, moon, rising, Capricorn, sun, moon, rising, and it's not required. You may not even know where any of that is, but especially if you've got those going on, you want to look at a divine feminine astrology reading and take the next step, because I stopped doing the readings as a standalone because I was giving people tons of information about their lives. And then, well, maybe they could take it to their therapist, or maybe they're working with the shaman or someone that can help them. But I felt like I was sending them off alone to just kind of let this information overwhelm them. So I create the Desire and Destiny Intensive, where we have 2 follow-up sessions that go deeper and show you how to work with this information and to determine, is it time for you to step into initiation? Is it time for you to learn more about your life purpose and your mission? Are you called to be a thresholder? Is that your mission? So, Desire and Destiny Astrology Intensive. now is the time. November, December, I have opened up space in my schedule. November, December, early January, where you can get these readings done, 2020 vision for 2020. So this, as we head into the Festival of Lights here in the north, or the time of light down in the southern hemisphere, reach out to me to inquire about your mission, your nessus, your healing work. The buck stops here. Your ancestors are gathering to say, we're depending on you. Heal your legacy now. So, enjoy this time. Spend time with yourself sexually. And if you have a partner, drop deeper with them. And happy Halloween. Blessed Samhain. And I'll see you next week. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.